All right, how's it going, everybody? It's almost opening day for baseball, and I've been working a lot lately with artificial intelligence in a few of its different iterations and forms in which it exists right now. Um, there's the algorithms that I've been doing forever in Excel, which are a very raw and basic form of artificial intelligence that works off of historical statistics by player to give us, as full a picture we can with just the stats we have. But it doesn't do amazing artificial intelligence things. Like, it doesn't go comb through Twitter to find out if there are any special cases going on with people playing. It doesn't catch immediate pitcher changes. You have to go through and fix it manually. There still are a lot of elements to it where you have to do some work to get it the best that it can be for the day, or at least with the correct inputs. You're trying to get this thing to have the most current and accurate stats with who is playing in these games. That's how it becomes better than just the naked eye and better than really anybody else out there. My guarantee to you is that you will not find anyone else on YouTube making picks for every single game that does better than this algorithm. If you find that person and that person can consistently beat this algorithm like over a week, if they can beat it like 6 out of 7 days or 5 out of 7 days or something, not 4 and 3, because 4 and 3 is about even. But you're generally not going to beat this algorithm over an extended period of time. That's why the odds makers start to emulate what is in here. And in every single sport that I've done, with the exception of soccer, that has happened. Is the lines change and they adjust to what the algorithm is kicking out because it's so good. So if you have a copy and you bought it, the subscription to this, from now until April 10th, I will do a video every day for you, and I'll send you the file. And I'm also doing these videos to show you how to update it so that you can do it yourself and not be dependent on me, because I'm not going to be doing it for the whole summer. So let's talk about what to do. First thing you need to do when you get the file is you need to get the current odds in. These are the odds that I grabbed from yesterday, but they're going to have changed. So you go to RotoWire, and you're going to have a subscription to RotoWire. I pay $9.99 a month, $9.99 a month. There's, I think, one for $6.99 or something that might just be baseball. So if you want to just do baseball, you might find a cheaper one. But I would recommend getting the $9.99 a month for all sports, because if you use any other algorithms that I do, you're going to want to use those sports as well. So I just opened up the odds, which you can't see because it's not being shared on the screen, but I'm grabbing them. Sometimes you can press enable content. Sometimes you don't have to. You can just highlight them with the mouse and paste them here. I paste as values. If you do it right and you don't, there's a way to get this to show just the time instead of this huge long string about the time, but that's a weird annoyance with how you bring in the data from this spreadsheet that you grabbed off RotoWire. Anyway, I did it wrong, and I made the date too long, but that's okay. So you look at the odds that you've just pasted. That's step one. How many games are there today? That shows over to the left. We number the games. There's 15 games today. So that means you look over at the matchup sheet and you look down and you're like, do we have 15 games? Do we have 30 slots? Just in case we accidentally renumbered something over here. Yes, we do. So we're good. All the pitchers are already lined up because I started preparing this yesterday, but normally we'd have some pitcher problems. So we'll talk about the next pitcher problem when it happens on Friday, on the second set of games, second day. But as for right now, the pitchers are working. So what else do you have to do? Go to the lineups tab. The lineups tab and lineup sheet is where you're going to grab the lineups from RotoWire and you're going to put them right here. Let's press the delete button, or the clear contents is really what you don't want to delete the cell. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't press delete. You just want to clear the contents out of here, because you're going to use this column L again. You're going to go to fantasy sports. That's the trick. It's not under the sports betting tab. MLB, lineups, daily lineups. And you can write some code to extract this information, from the website, but I just do it manually because I'm still an old dinosaur when it comes to manually copy pasting current sheets. You're going to copy the whole thing. Control A does it, control and holding down the A button, and then Control C copies what you just highlighted all, and then Control C copy. Then you paste the match as destination formatting, which I guess would be Control M. I've never done the shortcut, but that's probably what it is. That's going to paste all the lineups. And we can do a quick glance to make sure that they've included all expected lineups. Notice these are not confirmed. They're all expected. Oh, wait a minute. This one's confirmed. Minnesota's got a confirmed lineup already. Everybody else is expected, and we get the dreaded potential rainout in San Diego, of all places. Lord, are they really playing that game in San Diego? And that's where it might rain on opening day. Oh boy. But the four horsemen are coming. I mean, the world's apocalypse with weather is clearly happening. So that may be the rainout. Now you've copied and you've pasted as match destination formatting right here. Now you go over to this blue area, which is a pivot table. This thing's going to sort out all that crazy order of lineups based on a bunch of formulas that I wrote to do that. And it's going to refresh. You got to right click inside it and press refresh. And when you do that, you get hopefully everybody. Not only do you get all the lineup players and what order they're batting in shows up over here, we're checking to see if we have them in our database over here as well. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to see if we see any errors anywhere. And surprisingly, there's one. I'm actually going to make this show. I'll show you what we're going to do here. We have a conditional formatting that looks for errors and it turns them pink. We're going to apply that not just to the match check column, but also to the player team combo column. So that way they'll pop up in pink. And there you go. That's easier to see that now. So basically, this is Jurickson or Jackson, whatever profile. Let's find him. He's on Colorado now. He used to be on somebody else, and we're going to find him in our matrix. Whoops, don't want to do that. Control F. We're looking for the name. Here it is. J profile is Jurickson. He's now on Colorado. And we also need to change his batting stats for last year. So this is another area where we need to go is to the batter's pivot. Find him in here. And we're changing his last year's stats. We won't have to do it for his this year's stats, which don't exist yet because it's opening day tomorrow and hasn't happened yet. Once those stats get in here, we're going to add the New Year's stats to the bottom, and I'll start showing you that on day 2, probably. Day 2 or day 3, depending on if they have any stats up. They're not going to matter until you're at least about a week in, but we're going to start incorporating them into our calculations, and I'll show you how we do that later as the season progresses here. Now let's go back to the lineups and make sure that we've got everybody. Any more errors? They're going to show up in pink. Nope, no more errors. Also glance to make sure that none of the pitchers' names in this column are abbreviated with like a letter and then the name and not the full name, because that will screw stuff up as well. Yep, there we go. We got one. This is probably Eduardo Rodriguez. We're going to look on the matchup sheet at the Detroit game. It is Eduardo Rodriguez. Now, what you have to do here is pretty annoying. This is one thing I should probably fix as a bug because you really shouldn't have to do this. Eduardo. You actually have to manually type in the name because it doesn't remember the proper abbreviated name to get that correct. That was the only one I saw like that. So, okay, now let's take a look at the matchup sheet again, where we're housing our predictions at whatever combo we're looking at. Things I'm looking at on here, are there any errors? No, we get projected scores, so there are no huge errors. Everyone's pitching year is last year. Every one of these pitchers pitched at some point last year, and that is why they are in here with stats. Is there any pitcher that hardly has any innings? Yes, there's Kyle Muller. Okay, so just know that he's got a really bad ERA, but he's got really super limited stats, and this is kind of a weird game down here. We might want to look at his pitching stats and do something else with them. We'll see. Also, lineup factors. What's our lineup factor situation? Are all these numbers between 2 and 6? It looks like yes. There are some low ones, and we're going to see why those are low and whether or not we're missing stuff or what. Here's how we're going to do that. We're going to go to the batting order pivot, and we're going to press refresh. The batting order pivot is the entire batting order for all the teams, and it's got a ranking and how many players we have in that spot. So it's great when everything is green over here because it means we only have one player per spot. It means we've got a lot of our player assignments correct. However, there's something wrong. Maybe you can see what's wrong. There's a bunch of white blotches here. White blotches are people that we have that, I don't know. Actually, there could be a lot of reasons there's a white blotch there. We're going to have to do research, and we should try to answer that. So what is it? It's St. Louis's 8 spot. Okay. We don't know who that is. Well, let's look at RotoWire's lineup and look at St. Louis's 8 spot on here. See exactly who that is. That is Jay Walker, who's actually Jordan Walker. And he probably didn't play last year. Yeah, double A last year. Now I'm not going to go to the extent of adding, I'm not going to add, we already have him, right? Yeah, he just doesn't have any stats. I think that's really not a problem. Yeah, so everything's fine with that player, but the player just doesn't have any stats. And we're going to let it go. It's going to lower St. Louis's prediction for the day because we're not including a rostered player who's a AAA player, but we don't know. We do want to make sure that anybody who's rostered correctly that we have them. We probably do, and these are probably all new players. And this is why, for example, San Francisco's lineup factor is really low, is we're missing 2 guys. We're missing a 4 and a 9 spot on San Francisco. These things are going to clean themselves up after game 1 and 2 because all these new players are going to start to have 2023 stats. And I will be able to, okay. Oh, Conforto's played before. Is it the 4 spot? But he didn't play in 2022. Interesting. So that's why he doesn't show up. He was on the Mets, but let's make sure that we have him in our list. I think we do because we would have gotten an error in the other we would have gotten an error in the lineup sheet if we didn't have him. No, wait a minute. Yeah, you gotta look everywhere. Yeah, we got that right already. So yeah. So I'm not going to go through everybody because it's boring, but this is the problem is whoever is in these spots had no stats in 2022. We'll just note that we've underrepresented San Francisco because that's 2 guys. So we've underrepresented them by like 20%. The other ones, we're only missing 1 guy deep in the order for the most part, except for Boston. Who's Boston's 4th spot? Let's just check. Yoshida. Notice this notice is maybe wrong or maybe right. Keep in mind, this is an expected lineup. We actually don't know if this is the final lineup yet. Yeah, this person just has no stats. Okay. So I'm happy that we have the batters pivot not in perfect shape, but I'm accepting of that given it's game 1 and we're not going to go fishing out AAA stats of people that haven't played before. It's just not worth it for day 1. So that's good. So you know what that means? It means the matchup sheet's in pretty good shape. Why is Cincinnati so low? Apparently they have no hitting playing. We'll see. There's all expected lineups. Now what do you do? Because we're looking at this at combo number 25. There's a ton of different combos that are going to change things. Well, we have graduated to the point of using macros to test all these things to give us a average of things in a way. And this was what it was last night without any lineups. We're now going to run the whole thing again with all of our current information because we're pretty good. We're in pretty good shape right now. All right. So let's run a macro. I go into view macro, run. Sipping hot elderberry drink mix or whatever. So I'm going through an old house, like getting rid of the possessions of a hoarder. I am getting rid of a billion things. But I found some stuff that's useful. The elderberry drink mix, not bad. Well, some water. It's better than coffee. I don't think there's any caffeine in this stuff. Pretty good. All right, we're done. We're done macro. So we go over to the browse testing cube, and now I'm going to be able to tell you who to bet on tomorrow. Boom. Okay. So generally, yeah. Generally, you're going to hear me saying things like algorithm puts this in order by margin. Power also matters, but I'm trying to tell you, you can pick games where the margin's over a certain amount and maybe even the power's over a certain amount, which leads you to some stuff like this. This is all combinations, all 25 that we ran. We don't know if these combinations are great yet, but we're going to start testing them tomorrow when we get results. So it's saying that there are a lot of runs for Atlanta, the Angels. We know that Oakland pitcher, though, doesn't have hardly innings pitched. So that's skewed there. which another way that you can tell that something's weird there is look at how low the power is for the Angels as well. So you can see why the margin's great. It's due to a distorted pitching stat for the Oakland pitcher. So it makes you not necessarily want to take the Angels at 215 all as much. You might get rocked and they'll score a lot of runs, and I'll be like, well, algorithm's right. Don't listen to me. But if they don't, it's because that guy doesn't have a lot of pitching. We don't know what's going to happen there. It's a real game now. So, and there's a speed factor. There's a whole bunch of things going on. So we'll see what happens there. But I understand that we're supposed to watch out for this. We're also supposed to watch out for San Francisco. So we're overrating the Yankees too much because San Francisco is missing a couple guys. So this margin would be even less. So you should know that about that game, which makes you want to put the Yankees further down on the list if you gave some stats to those San Francisco guys. I mean, we could do that really fast. We could give them kind of average stats for a position. Could do that. It's actually pretty easy. The way to do that would be all these people with zeros here. We could just give them something. Yeah, I mean, we could. The question is, what would we give them? Most people, the lowest C scores you're seeing are around 20% even. So even if you just give these people 20%, and I'm going to have to remember to rewrite this formula tomorrow, but I'm just going to do this for everybody just to show you some equality. Saying, this person's going to have some contribution normally like a baseball player would in some fashion. So we'll give them the lowest possible. So at least it's reasonable. That's a way to make this better. I mean, trying to give you something every day and showing you all the different things you can do. You just got to remember, override that formula, tomorrow. Don't do that all the time. And then we could go rerun a macro and stuff, and that would work basically because of what we just did. So if you go back to pivot browse, you can start looking at this thing by also whatever combination we're looking at. Right now we're on number 25, which actually uses limited pitching stats. So now we're getting super complicated about which combination to use, which is why I want to go back to this here. This is supposed to do everything, but I'm highlighting a couple things where I know the algorithm got some bad inputs, right? Like we could rerun the macro and move this. Gosh, should I show you? No, I won't, but we could rerun the macro, but I'll just rerun it tomorrow when the lineups are confirmed, because that will give us a final look at what the actual confirmed lineups were. Even if you make your bets before the lineups are confirmed and they change on you, well, that's your fault for making the bet too early, I guess. Like usually everybody can bet on their phone. I swear I'm not betting anymore. Haven't bet, love it. Have no access to bet. Computer won't accept my location, and I deleted the app from my phone, so it's over. And I enjoy doing this because I do not care now about the money. I just want to show you this thing will win. So what do you do tomorrow after all this? Because I'm not doing another video before the games. Well, it says Atlanta. It says the Dodgers. It says Tampa Bay. San Diego. Colorado stats are weird, though. Mets over Miami. It says start to be careful down here with these low powers. And it says the Angels, but it also says, watch out for that weird Oakland pitching situation. It's like, maybe, maybe not. And then all the way down to Toronto over St. Louis. We think the Yankees will be lower. Houston over the White Sox. These are big power, still margin games right around 10%. So it would be everything here, but be careful with what will happen in the Angels game. And the other ones, San Diego's minus 205 is, I think it's about in the right place, but I don't know. Because the power's low. I know the power's still above 10%, I guess. But I'm just a little concerned about that. Like you can see the Dodgers a better bet at minus 175. I mean, you can look at that. By the way, we have 3 underdogs down here also. And Cleveland's a powerful team, actually, in this one. So the underdog with the biggest power is Cleveland. So I would say this is the underdog pick of the day, because Pittsburgh's power is low, so negative even. So this one's not a good underdog pick against Cincinnati, which is also missing a guy, I think. So Cleveland really is the underdog, and Baltimore also maybe, but Cleveland more so because of this. So we would say, like, I'm trying to answer, like, I'm trying to tell you, like, how are we going to be able to sort this thing at the end of the day on opening day when all the games are done? sort it and show the best ROI in what order. It's supposed to be this order with some caveats, right? Well, do we want to do the thing by power? Because sometimes it'll have awesome days by power. It's this order. Dodgers, Mets, Toronto, Atlanta, Houston, Cleveland. See how Cleveland pops up all the way up here now? All the way down to Tampa Bay. That, as an experienced person, seeing how power matters sometimes, seeing that looks more, also the lines look a little better for a lot of that too. This one looks like more juicy for like a round robin or something. If you're betting like the threes on these 7 games, like the threes and the fours, you're probably going to hit more than 4 of those. And some of those lines are not bad. Like that looks like a 5-2 to 6-1 day on these teams right here. But we'll see what happens. So I'll reserve the right to want to look at this in different ways. And also we'll find out which combinations did the best, because all these combinations are different. They have different orders of things. When we care just about lineup factor, it puts the Mets on top and then Cleveland. It's giving Cleveland some hitting, I think, this year is what it's doing. Anyway, so I would recommend from Algorithm's history that a lot of these games are going to be winners all the way to right about here. What about Texas and Philadelphia? And that's only a 1% margin. Cleveland's an underdog line. Yeah, these 7, I would be very surprised if we don't see a positive ROI at the end of the string of these 7 games. And the traditional way by margin would say something like all these teams over here, which is 8 of them. But the Angels are kind of weird because of the limited pitching. All right, so that's the update, guys. That's how you update the file for opening day. If you want to subscribe to $175, you get an email from me every day with this file, and then you take it and you give it wings and you do it for the rest of the year, because I'll have shown you all the things you need to do to update, which there are more. There's a lot more. There's more stuff to go over when we start getting 2023 stats in here. So there is more to go, but that's kind of the basic way to go from odds to matchup sheet to getting the lineups in here properly. And I'm just going to get rid of that extra 20% I gave everybody, going back to the regular. I just can't do it. I don't like overriding this stuff I don't like doing that anyway. But all right, guys, good luck, everybody. I hope your picks win on opening day. I won't be betting, but I'll be following a little bit to see how this goes. All right, good luck. Now your picks.